I'm locked in, dude. Welcome. We're here. Energy's high, higher than usual. Welcome to the third episode of the Wide 80 podcast. As always, to my left, I got my brother from the same mother. You know him as Short Stuff Golf. You know him. You've seen him tearing it up. Best in the game. Colby is in the building. Then we got underneath me, the Einstein of fantasy sports. There's never been a number he hasn't seen.
You gotta calm it down there, man. Yeah.
The one and only 2023 fantasy baseball champion. And you can only hold on to that for a certain amount of time. So
Yeah,
we
for
gotta
you
we
got a
gotta
year.
wear it out.
I
We gotta
appreciate you
get as
wearing it
much
out for
juice out
me.
of that as
Yeah.
possible. We got Chandler in the building, the same crew as always. Man, we're here. How we guys feeling? How we doing? Like, what's the vibes like?
Dude, I got Gangstar in my head right now, so I'm just like, dun, dun, dun,
Gangstar,
dun,
R.I.P.
dun.
Guru.
I'm in the
You know how
building
we
right now.
do it.
Yep.
Feeling good.
But
Another Thursday, man.
another Thursday. We tried to
Rendition.
come with the same formula, but we try to spice it up a little bit. We think this show is going to be a good one. And as always, we kind of start with football because that's what's going on right now, right? Tail end of the Super Bowl. The Chiefs go back to back. Pat Mahomes gets a third one of them things, right? So, what are some takeaways, some initial thoughts we have from the game, Chandler? What do you think?
Man, that was a doozy. That's for sure.
Great game.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody could have really expected the back and not really back and forth, but the comeback.
Wait, hold on, time out. Someone kind of did expect it.
Well, I mean, we expected it to a certain extent,
Like-
but
I'm
for it to
gonna
be
give
that
you
nail-biting all the way
your
through,
flowers while you are here.
appreciate it, man.
For anybody who doesn't know, Chandler predicted two really impressive aspects of that game. He said it was going to go into overtime and the Chiefs were going to win on a field goal, but they won on a touchdown. So you're about 3 points off there, right?
Yeah.
Was a couple points away from predicting the exact same score. We predicted the same score, but I didn't predict nothing about overtime. And then Chandler looks us dead in our souls, right? And says, there's going to be some weird shit. The Niners, I think you
Yeah.
said Christian McCaffrey's going to throw a touchdown.
Yeah, that was the hope, is Christian McCaffrey throwing a touchdown to Juice Chick, but that didn't happen. They did have a wild
But it
trickery,
was a
though.
non-quarterback
Yeah, and
touchdown
Christian
to
McCaffrey was on the
Christian
receiving end
McCaffrey.
of it, so worked
Dude,
out in that way. But yeah,
I-
only second game to go to overtime. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I thought it was pretty wild. And you called it out off air, Brandon, is that Brock Purdy really protected the ball, and
I
did
didn't think he would.
yeah, he did a great job, to be honest. I don't think anybody could put him at fault. Another one stand out, Patrick Mahomes leading rushing is kind of wild, especially with Pacheco. I feel like Pacheco gets that honor, right? To just kind of have that one because he didn't lead the rushing attack by any means. But my guy Harrison Butker, man, that I
The
root for
real
him every
MVP.
yeah, I root for him every
For
season.
real.
I watch him perform well every single season. It's awesome. And to set a Super Bowl record with a 57-yarder, pretty sweet.
That was
Over half the
surprising
Chiefs'
when I
points.
saw that.
Yeah.
Like, I thought 57, I mean, it's a long field goal, but I thought there would have been one at least a couple yards longer, maybe a 58, 59 yarder, maybe a Justin Tucker 60 bomb. But
Yeah.
that was the longest kick in field goal history. That's crazy.
Oh,
And
just Super Bowl
Colby
history.
sent
Yeah.
us what was the graphic you sent us about? He had more than half the points.
Yeah, he had more than half the points. He had 52% of the points of the Chiefs.
The
points.
long lost MVP that we will talk
Wild.
about decades from now.
Give the kickers the love, guys.
And
Just
then
give
I
them
got to
Definitely
thinking
deserve it,
about
man.
it. So in the middle of this game, I got to thinking about it, and I said, "Has a kicker ever won?" So I went and looked down. The kickers never won it. I'm thinking, man, if this does end up being what you were saying, this was, maybe early fourth quarter. I'm thinking if this ends up being where he kicks the longest field goal, kicks the game-winning field goal, can we do it, or is that
Yeah.
just so taboo to not give it to a skill player or a crazy defensive player?
I think Mahomes just said, "Give me that."
He's like, hey man, this
The
don't
whole
work
game.
without me.
Yeah, he said the whole game, "Give me that," and that's what happened. But what
Yeah.
you think, Colby?
What you got?
I'm more of like the negative Nancy part because I thought the Niners were going to win.
You did, yeah. And it looked
Yeah,
like you were right in the
Yeah,
third quarter.
yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
look close.
but Patrick Mahomes did Patrick Mahomes things, and just dude. If they got that ball, if they had a chance at it, it's like there's no way they're going to lose. That's just how I felt about it. And wasn't there something about how they didn't know the rules? The Niners didn't know the rules of
Yeah,
overtime.
Juszczyk kind of walked it back.
Yeah.
Because there is a clip that I did see that
Mhm.
was him mic'd up, and he said, "Oh, I didn't know that we still get the ball after a touchdown."
Yeah.
And so,
I
yeah,
think the
he didn't
majority of
know.
that I didn't know. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think the majority of that I didn't know was like prior to the moment that it was introduced to them at that time. Like
Yeah.
apparently the Chiefs had gone back and looked at it and talked about it the week leading up to it. Like if this happens, we need to know the rules. San Francisco didn't do that. And my favorite meme right now is the whole 49ers team learning the rules of football at the same time Ice Spice did. Like that's fantastic, because they're
Yeah.
both looking at the Jumbotron trying to figure out what the hell the ref just said.
Yeah,
Because it is a new rule, right? And
yeah.
Kansas City led the charge there on getting that rule changed because of the Buffalo game.
Okay, so they got 3 out of it right in overtime.
They
But
Mhm.
got the first three,
in
and
that
then if the
moment,
Chiefs go and the Chiefs, if they just get anything more than three, they win.
in that moment, yeah, it was 4th and 3, they got it.
Mhm.
But in that moment, don't you think it'd be better for the Niners to just go for it in the Super Bowl?
That's the
Like, I mean, look, I'm a fan. I'm not a coach, but like, I don't know, man. You go balls out in the Super
my
Bowl.
Couch
response
coach,
to
my guy. Let's
that.
go.
I get you lost Greenlaw, but like my response to that would be if you can get three, you get three.
And hope you
And
stop them. Yeah.
say I get it, it's Pat Mahomes. I understand it's the Chiefs, but I feel it's hindsight that we say these things, but
For sure.
the realistic part of it is the 49ers did have one of, if not the best defense in the league. So I guess you rely on what you went to the well with all year.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, no, but I
And they
would
did.
that's the question. The question is, should they have gone for it so close? Because if they don't get it, the Chiefs are backed up, and then there's my still you can still rock with your defense. And then there's the question on should they have received the ball when they
Yeah.
did with
When
the
they won
coin
the
toss.
toss. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's 50-50. 18,000 people did a poll, and it's 50-50.
Yeah.
Some said that you take the ball every time, and some said, we'll try to rely on our defense. So
All right. Because in some
it's
instances, if you give it away, then you lose your chance because
right.
they
Did you
scored.
guys
Yeah.
see
So
the full field view of that play where Purdy threw it away and that led them to kicking the field goal? Ayuk was wide
Yeah.
open.
Standing by
mm,
And
himself.
didn't I
Yeah.
text in the chat? I said Purdy to Ayuk for the win. Obviously, I was not knowing of the rules at that point, but I said I Purdy to Ayuk for the touchdown right now. And then I see the play, and obviously pressure got to him. He tossed it away, but Ayuk was dead center of the field,
Yeah.
sipping a lemonade.
mm-hmm.
No one around him. He was big chilling.
Yeah,
Dang
and
it.
I
So
think you trust your defense in that instance. Like if you're 49ers, right? If it were a first half overtime, but it wasn't a first half overtime.
Yeah.
Like that was the end of the game. We saw the tides literally turn
yep, agreed.
in that game, and like I agree. I don't think you kick the field goal, even if you're learning on the fly. I think you have to make the adjustment and say, okay, we need to go for it. Because if we go for it, then we either go to double overtime when they score, or they're going for two, and we win the game off of a failed 2-point conversion. So
Yeah.
you have to, yeah. I don't know about that.
Right. And another thing, I know now we're going backwards because we're now in overtime, but in the third quarter, it's as if the Niners just didn't even want to run the ball.
It was weird.
I had no idea. Like their recipe for success was getting Christian McCaffrey involved, and then when the third quarter hit, it just felt like they were trying to put it all on Purdy.
Yeah.
And it to me, just watching the game, I'm just like, what are we doing here? You had a recipe that was good, and now you're trying to change it up in the third. I mean, maybe you're just trying to put points on the board as much as you can. I get it, but when they went back to running the ball in the fourth quarter, it's like it was 4 yards, 5 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards, and I'm like,
Chunks.
there it is right there. It's like
Yep.
run the ball, man. You got arguably the best running back in the league, and why not use him that way? I mean, Mind you,
So
he was used quite a bit. Like he was used, but it
Mhm.
He
just
had
seemed
eight catches, 8 receptions out of the backfield,
yeah, he was used quite a
28
bit,
touches total.
but it just seemed the timing of it it didn't make sense.
I'm right
I
there
don't
with
know.
you, Colby. And that's actually a question I have for you, gentlemen, is who's at fault here? Who's at fault from the 49ers? Because we agreed going into this that 49ers were the better team on paper. All
Yep.
year long, they looked
I
like the
still
better
say that,
team.
but
Yep.
Yep. And they are. They
They were. I'm agree.
were.
I agree.
Stats wise, they were the better team on
Defense,
paper.
offense.
So
The
who do
Niners
y'all
have
put the
been one of the
blame
most
on?
stacked teams we've ever seen.
For sure. But who do y'all put the blame on? Because I have an answer for this. Because I think something coincidentally lines up that really shouldn't. But
Dun-dun-dun,
I want to hear
dun-dun-dun.
from y'all.
If I could answer, I think hindsight's a big part of it, but
Sure.
I said it in the group chat. I agree with Colby. It just seems like every time McCaffrey touched the ball, it was 4 or 5 yards up the middle. I made the statement. Obviously, you're not going to do this in a Super Bowl game, but if they ran the ball first, second, third down, it seems like they would pick it up every time. Obviously, that's the biggest case of hindsight, and that's what we know now. But yeah, I definitely saw them getting too cute, and I guess getting cute is what got the Jennings to McCaffrey touchdown. That was
Mhm.
getting too cute to the most extreme level.
Yeah.
But it's the offensive play call. That's what it comes down to. And if that's offensive coordinator, I'm not 100% sure on who makes those decisions. I don't know if Shanahan called the plays. If so, then that's tough. And I saw that they fired their defensive coordinator, which I don't think
That's kind of
that was
crazy.
really the issue. But
That's kind of crazy.
are you going to fire a guy for failing to stop Mahomes in the second half when the Niners shut down Mahomes in the first half?
Yeah, it was wild.
No, they were
He
playing
did.
well,
Yep.
very well.
So you're firing him. I guess it's the biggest game in the world, the biggest time in the world. But you're firing the defensive coordinator because the Chiefs, who are nice like that, figured things out in the second half. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's on Shanahan. That's my vote.
I would have to take that vote too. It was my understanding that he was making the play calls.
I mean, he tailor makes that offense.
Yeah.
So I assume he makes the play calls. I just can't
Or he
100%
has
confirm it.
he has a
But
very very big influence on what is being called, but yeah, man, when they started getting away from the run, I'm like, oh shit, you know.
it's just too
Yeah.
cute.
So
It's too cute. I get it. You want to do play action because everyone's expecting runs, so you're trying to catch them off guard. But then KC's defense started sliding to anticipate the defensive line alignment started sliding to anticipate the rollout. So when Purdy's faking the run and then rolling out, Chris Jones is in his
Yep.
he knows what he had for breakfast. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think, Chandler? I feel like you got something spicy coming up.
I do have something spicy because there's one person involved in both of the overtime Super Bowls that ended up
Uh-oh.
in losses.
Uh-oh.
That wasn't the refs. It was Kyle Shanahan, head coach of the 49ers, offensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons that blew that 28-3 lead.
Ooh, he cracked the
Ooh.
Da Vinci Code in
I
this
don't
bitch.
know who else to blame in this
Dun-dun-dun,
instance. I
dun-dun-dun.
can't put it on the players. It looks like everything was executed at a very high level. Everybody's obviously given it their all.
Yep.
Somebody took a fucking break halfway through that game, and it wasn't anybody that actually touches the ball. So got to figure that one out. I'm curious to see how the 49ers move forward from this because if that is a pattern, if that's a trend and those dots get connected, it's not looking good for this guy in the NFL in
I
any
love that.
position.
I don't think firing the defensive coordinator is
That's
moving
like the
forward.
weirdest.
OC, yeah.
That was the weirdest decision. The weirdest outcome that came from that loss was, I think they said it's not the right fit. We figured out it's not the right fit. It's like
How?
they base. I get your offense is loaded, but a lot of games were won with that crazy defense.
Mhm.
Now, my
Absolutely.
question I have for you guys, Chandler comes with a question. I'll come with a question. Is Brock Purdy an elite quarterback? Yes or no?
Elite, no.
Okay.
More is he the modern day Kirk Cousins? Yes.
Okay.
Top 10
Top
for
10?
sure.
Yeah. Put him in top 10 for any
Man, he's like right on the outside of 5.
Right on
any
the outside
important
of 5? Okay.
category.
Yeah,
Put him in top 10 easy.
Okay.
for sure.
So can we play a game?
This or that.
Time to
I'm gonna give you Brock Purdy as the quarterback, okay? I'm gonna name you some players, and I'm gonna name you some other quarterbacks, and you tell me who you'd rather have, Brock Purdy or any of these guys. Okay, Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts.
We're just coming out the gates hot.
Man,
right.
that's close. To be
Look at
honest
me.
with you. Mm-mm-mm.
You got to say it. Like we got to go. We got
What
to go.
offense do we have here?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we're going current teams still, just like whatever team they're already on. So basically, we're taking the Eagles or the 49ers. I'm taking Brock Purdy in this
Probably,
instance.
yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
probably what
let's rephrase the perspective here. Okay, so you're building a football team, and you know what each of these guys possess, and it's going to be your offense, whatever you want. You're building the
Jalen
team
Hurts.
tailor made. You're taking Jalen Hurts
God,
Jalen
that's
over
a
Brock
tough
Purdy.
one, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Colby's
man.
conflicted.
I don't know, man.
And then
Because
I'll
like
trade
I think
Jalen
as
Hurts in
I
2
think
years
as
for
a
Brock
No,
Purdy.
see this. You can't bring fantasy into it. You got to chill.
Yeah.
I
He
In
think-
2
always,
years, 2 years.
he'll always bring some trade shit into it.
I think as an individual, I think Jalen Hurts.
Okay, okay, let's keep it
but
going.
as a team guy, I think Brock. Like it's I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard.
just-
Okay, this let's kind of close the gap a little bit. Brock Purdy or Tua Tagovailoa.
I'm taking Brock because I hate that throwing motion, man. I can't
I'd
get
probably
over
That's
take
it.
fine.
Brock too.
I can't get over
Okay,
it.
unanimous. Okay,
Uncoachable. No, I'm just kidding.
Brock Purdy or Kirk Cousins.
Purdy,
Purdy.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay,
I think he's
Okay.
Kirk just however many
okay,
years
that's,
younger.
no, that's,
Kirk,
that's
it's a
Yeah, I
it's
like
close.
it.
They're all
Yeah.
close, man.
Brock Purdy or Justin Herbert.
Herbert.
Ooh, that was a
Ooh,
quick one.
that was
A
quick.
quick Herbert. Colby's like, I don't
That
give a
was
fuck.
quick.
No,
I'll
Yeah.
take Purdy's athleticism, man. We didn't know that guy could run until recently. So I ain't ever seen Herbert scramble like that.
John Elway.
okay, so we're split on that one.
Yeah, I'll take Purdy on that one too.
Okay, no. So let's go Brock Purdy, CJ Stroud.
Stroud.
That's our boy, man. You can't come
Colby's
on.
Houston head to toe.
Oh, yeah,
He's
come
like, I don't know.
on.
Let me think about it.
Yeah.
No, that's
Tough-
great.
a
I
tough
just
one,
wanted-
Jim.
CJ.
That's a tough one, Jim.
CJ.
Let's take it to the drawing board.
I asked y'all episode 1. Y'all want to turn this into a CJ Stroud's podcast? I'm down.
Let's-
Fanfare. Let's go. We can actually sell
That's
merch that
crazy.
way.
Got a lot of good
so-
things to say about that guy.
Okay, so I just wanted to know where you guys sat on Purdy. It seems like
Yeah,
you
top
got.
10.
It seems like y'all kind of keep him in the top seven. Top seven.
That's
Is he
maybe
top
fair.
seven?
That's maybe fair. Maybe 8. I don't know. I'd have to go
Seven.
through it. all.
Seven's a good
Seven
number.
makes you a little nervous. Like 8.
Yeah, I don't like
8's
7.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Seven's
cool.
perfect.
2
Are-
worse than him? Sure.
Are there any other thoughts on the Super Bowl? Anything else?
Can we
Pat
please
Mahomes
not
a
see a
beast.
3-peat?
Yeah.
That I don't. It seems from the celebrations, it does seem like the core is coming back. Chris Jones, Mahomes is going to stay there. Rashee Rice is getting better. Pacheco's getting better. I don't know.
Hey, we'll address this later in the year, but I do have a crazy theory that if Jason Kelsey doesn't retire, he comes to play center for the Chiefs.
And I don't know anything about the offensive line to know if that
They have an
even...
all-pro center, so it's
Oh,
not
does
likely.
he? Yeah. I
It's
don't know.
That'd be cute
likely.
though.
Yeah, it would be neat, but yeah, it's a working theory. We'll figure
Or
it out. as it goes
Kelsey
along.
goes to the... No, I'm playing.
No, that won't
I'm
happen.
playing.
Goes
I'm
to the
playing.
Niners.
I'm playing.
Yeah. What'd you say
Um,
earlier, Colby? I cut you off.
I forget.
Perfect.
Hey, we're rocking and rolling.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, so we'll stick with football, but kind of move away from the Super Bowl. I think we really, I don't think we're too far apart on any opinion on the Super Bowl, but getting into season's over, so free agency will be coming up soon. We got draft season coming up soon, so I want to stick with football. We talked about wide receivers last episode. Let's stick with throwing the football, and let's talk about quarterbacks. Okay, let's talk about quarterbacks, and let's talk about where we think they could end up at the start of next season.
This
Okay.
makes for an easy handoff to running backs next week.
Absolutely. You
See what I
get
did there?
it. You see
See what
what
I
I'm
did there?
saying?
Yeah.
No, we're rocking. So
That should be a like for anybody that caught that one.
I want to start off with the name that has been the most talked about name in movement as far as the quarterback position goes so far this offseason. Justin Fields. He's not a free agent, but with the Bears having the first overall pick, do they take the best quarterback available in Caleb Williams, or assuming it's Caleb Williams? Do they maybe trade that pick and get more draft capital? Maybe try to land a Marvin Harrison Jr. for Justin Fields if you keep him? What do you guys think? Where do you think Justin Fields is gonna play next year? Chandler.
I actually want to pass this to Colby because again, we were talking before we started recording here, and I like his answer the best. I had to change mine because I didn't want to be the same. But
Colby, what you got?
Colby, take it away, man, because that's some good stuff.
Um, I got a few that may want to, go for the Justin Fields lottery here. Um, I had the Raiders
Yeah,
first.
that's a good one.
I think they did put in some sort of they offered the Chicago Bears, I guess, 2 draft picks. They were pretty high. I don't think there's been any answer to it, but as far as I know, the Raiders did try to put something in for Justin Fields. I know they're trying to move on from Garoppolo because he's expensive and he just ain't working out. Um, but I see the Raiders really trying to go in on Justin Fields and the Falcons. I think the Falcons may want to try and get him. I
Falcons
know
need to figure out what the hell they're doing.
who's over there now. Desmond Ritter.
Desmond Ritter and
Right.
Tyler Heineke basically
Yeah.
split last year, but it's
Yeah,
clear that Ritter's not that guy. And if
yeah.
you're
He
talking
had
about,
signs though.
yeah,
I mean,
he had some good games, but if you're talking about Justin Fields in Atlanta, Justin Fields, Bijan Robinson, Drake London, can someone please use
Yeah,
Kyle Pitts
the
the
weapons,
correct
dude.
way?
Yeah, the
yeah,
weapons.
And that defense is legit. They were one of the best
They are.
last
That
year.
was the best. Well, that was the best part of their team easily this year.
Yep.
hmm
But
yeah.
I like those two.
So
So
Raiders or Falcons? Yeah, I think that's kind of.
if you had to lean towards one, like 51% to 49%, who would you lean towards?
I would like to see Falcons, but the fact that the Raiders are already trying to put something out there, I think they'll be more persistent, so
I
they
like
may
it.
get it done that way. But yeah, I'd like to see them on the Falcons. That'd be fun to watch.
I like it. Chandler, what you got?
So I don't know why I just lean towards the Washington Commanders here.
Just
I think their offense, like Sam Howell, yeah, he had glimpses of amazingness last year at quarterback. We don't really know his status this year, but it was all throwing the ball. It was all through the air, right? And adding Justin Fields to this offense just increases the dynamic of how shifty this offense can be. It's speed and movement and confusion all the way around. And I think that could really work for this team that's kind of trying to find their identity or find their winning formula, and actually take it to the next step. You know, they had a name change and that wasn't the greatest, but I that's if he goes anywhere, you know, like y'all were talking earlier, in the draft, they could easily pick up a wide receiver for the guy. Um, but I don't know. I think Washington has all the potential. They're just missing a few key pieces, and Fields could be that guy. He could be. It would be a gamble though, but Commanders for sure.
I like it. I like all of them are applicable landing spots. I think Justin Fields is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Damn.
Not
Look at the
only does
curve.
Vegas show them as the favorite, and it spiked crazy over the last week. So someone knows
Oh,
something.
That's
But
wild.
what where has Justin Fields been let down so far in this career? I think he's had shit coaches. I really do. Mike Tomlin is one of the most consistent coach. I get there's not a whole lot of playoff success since the early 2000s, or early 2000s Super Bowl win, but he has a crazy streak of winning seasons. So I think you put him with Mike Tomlin. I They need a quarterback. Kenny Pickett? No. Not it, dude. I saw a stat today that says Tommy DeVito has more multiple touchdown games than Kenny Pickett.
Tommy DeVito
That's
had more games last season in 3 games, or more touchdowns in 3 games last season than Kenny Pickett did for
Yep.
like, I think we were at 11 at that point in time.
Kenny Pickett's
Just
not it.
wild.
They already announced that they're moving on from Mitch Trubisky. Mason Rudolph, he's been the backup on that team for forever. They need something spicy. I do think there is talent on that team. George Pickens, I think he's one of the best young receivers. He has a insane attitude and is incredibly unpredictable, but we see what he looks like when it's on. And then you got Deontay Johnson. Najee Harris isn't the bust that they thought he was. He had a good year last year. And then
Yeah,
you
that's
got Jay
weird.
Warren. You got Pat Fairmouth. There's a good team there. The defense is always going to be good under Mike Tomlin. That's the best situation for him. And I think it works out. I think it works out. I think he goes there and really flourishes, and Steelers make the playoffs like they always do. Let's keep it moving though.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins. Who we got? Kirk Cousins, Colby. Kirk Cousins. What we got?
Um, Kirk Cousins, I think he wants to die a Viking. I think he
He's the
doesn't
most
want to go
Minnesota
anywhere.
guy I've ever seen. As
Yeah.
someone that's in Minnesota, it's Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I don't see him really going anywhere, getting him having an interest to go anywhere. It's really on the Vikings if they want to move on from him. But I do see how what I do see playing out is them signing him to a short-term deal, like 2 years. Um, so I think he resigns.
Thank you, Chandler.
Yeah, that's I agree. I think he's gonna die a Viking, which is fantastic because they love him. He loves it there. He does good work. He's very consistent. He's not flashy, but he's also not gonna lose you
He was the
a
best
lot of
quarterback in
games.
the league before he went down.
Yeah. Um, I agree with Colby though, because I think the franchise tag for him last year was hefty, was it not? So if they were to do the same thing, it just doesn't make sense at some point in time. And so a 2-year deal, I think makes a lot of sense. I don't know. I think he has 3 years left in him.
The
That'd
way
be
he was playing last year,
yeah.
he might have 5. I don't know.
No, I don't know how old he is off the top of my head, but
He might. I don't know.
but yeah, I just think he's having fun out there and he's just enjoying it. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Granted, they're not winning any Super Bowls, but they're having a good time.
Yeah. It's unanimous. I think he stays in Minnesota as well. I read a report that says Justin Jefferson is a little hesitant to sign a long-term deal until he understands what the future plans are. And again, this is a report. I don't know if there's any facts to this, but it sounds like Justin Jefferson will sign a longer deal in Minnesota if Kirk Cousins stays. He wants to stay with Kirk Cousins. So I think that even gives them more motivation
To
to get
keep him
that deal
around.
done,
Yeah.
to
And that
keep
makes
him
a lot
around.
of sense. I wouldn't commit myself without knowing the future of
Right.
the
And
franchise.
speaking of franchise tags, another thing Chandler called out, Cincinnati Bengals will franchise tag T. Higgins. So you said that?
They will.
Yeah, that's a report. That's what they're gonna do.
Mm.
It's a $20 million franchise tag.
Jesus, man.
But yeah, he's getting it. All right.
So not a
So
Patriot, fine.
the next one. Damn it.
There was a chance. No.
He was this close. The next that's when you start altering the news. It's like
Yeah,
what you
exactly.
guys
Yeah,
don't know is they were
dude,
really
just
close, but then
take
last
down that
minute.
clip and nobody even said anything.
So the next one is actually one I'm really excited to talk about. Gardner Minshew. Colby, where you got Gardner Minshew going?
So I see them resigning, I guess.
That's a I mean,
Kinda.
why
I mean,
not?
I'm not really sure. I really don't know where to put my finger on Gardner Minshew. I think he's shown that he could be a good quarterback, and maybe the Colts see that. But they also have Anthony Richardson.
Be a
Um,
really nice insurance plan.
yeah.
Almost a perfect one.
It
Yep.
kind of was, wasn't it? And
One game away.
yeah, so I don't really know for sure, but I do have a spicy take
Uh-oh.
that the Broncos cut Russell Wilson, and they signed someone like Gardner Minshew.
Mm,
I love that.
So that's kind of what I've had in the
That's
in the
such a good
pot,
pick.
in the
so
pot,
I
stirring.
didn't even think
my
about
little
that. That's so
pot
good.
of gumbo. So
Yeah.
yeah, it would be really cool to see Gardner go to the Broncos. So
That
yeah, we'll see.
that
I don't
is
know if he'd
such
show
a
up to
take.
practice on time in Colorado.
You know what I'm saying?
Know what I'm saying? It's
Chandler,
I
highly
where you
got I
got
got likes
field-minded.
it outside.
where you
Yeah,
got Gardner Minshew going?
I think he stays with the Colts. I
Okay.
really do think he is. Anthony Richardson, sure, that is the future as long as he can stay healthy. But I think Minshew is the perfect backup for somebody like that. Can still pull all the play actions. He's not going to run as much, but 2 yard scramble for a touchdown, absolutely. And he's not afraid to take hits. He's clearly got an arm on him. He's clearly accurate. He's got everything it takes. So I honestly, yeah, he'll be back up to Anthony Richardson. I don't know if Anthony Richardson stays healthy, so I wouldn't be surprised if after this next year, they just sign Gardner to a longer term deal and he becomes their starter.
I'm actually somewhat surprised. Both of y'all kind of saying he could resign. I mean, Colby kind of going both ways, but pause. But I definitely I like the idea. I think analytically speaking, Gardner Minshew staying there makes a ton of sense.
Mhm.
I have this issue when it comes to making these predictions where I will read a report from ESPN or something and it will completely sway me. I'm buying in, I'm sold. And I saw a report, I don't remember who it was from, but it was definitely from someone credited. And they said that the Patriots might pass on drafting a quarterback and they might look into free agency to sign their quarterback. And when I think Patriots and what they would want in a free agent quarterback, they definitely want someone consistent, not someone that's necessarily going to blow your hair back, not someone that's going to, after dealing with Mac Jones and dealing with Brady Zapp, I think they want consistency. And I think Gardner Minshew is like the definition of a game managing quarterback with great success, accurate, puts the ball where it needs to be, puts them in the right position to win. Gardner Minshew, a New England Patriot, I think it's a great pickup. I think they might win some games with him at quarterback.
Spicy
it's
meet
the-
the ball.
Yeah, I think it's the right timing too, because Belichick would have yelled at him for the long hair, and I think Mayo may or may not yell at him for the long. He's got
I
a
think
chance.
Mayo will have a longer leash for his players than
Sure.
Belichick
Yeah,
did for sure.
yeah.
This is gonna be a quick one. Baker Mayfield
Tampa.
Resign.
resigns. We all
Tampa.
agree. We all agree.
Exceed expectations.
He needs a big.
And
He deserves a big deal.
I
He
think that's only
deserves a
going to make
big
him play
deal.
better too. By
Yeah,
the way,
he deserves
actually
it.
having the confidence that he needs to move forward like that, you might see a different side of him.
I like it. This might be another quick one. I don't know. And y'all can just interrupt me if y'all have this crazy take. Joe Flacco.
I got him as a
Couch.
backup.
You think he returns to Cleveland as a backup?
I mean, why not?
Chandler says
Probably sign
couch.
cheap.
Couch.
Yeah, I
Back
don't.
to retirement, man. They called him off the couch. He showed up. He did great. Now he's just going to go back to the couch.
I'm completely 50-50. I think he could retire, but I think he maybe have won some hearts over in Cleveland. And Deshaun Watson, what's the chances that he plays 17 games?
What's the chance Deshaun Watson plays one game?
Like,
I'm not even joking.
He is pulling off the finesse of the century with the amount of money he's making to not play. But
All right,
I
check
think
it out. If
I
you were
think they could
39
resign
years
him.
old, yeah, if you were 39 years old and retired off of football money, and you got a call halfway through the season, be like, hey man, you still want to go throw the pigskin around? Be like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll do it for half a season. How much money would it take for you to stick around for your 40th birthday?
And you have to do training camp. You got
All
to
of it.
do off
All of it.
season.
Commit. Yeah, commit to the 12 months.
That's a good point.
What's your price tag? When you've already made millions and you had your feet
It
propped
would
up.
knowing if you're talking about me, it would take
Yeah.
you got to open up the check. You got to open up the check.
Yeah.
Like I would definitely be like, okay, here's what I'm not doing. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. You do have a good point. You do have a good point. Okay. Jake Browning, who kind of appears as an interesting free agent quarterback candidate after winning some games with Cincinnati, looked serviceable in Cincinnati.
Ooh, beyond serviceable.
I have him being a Denver Bronco.
Ooh, I like it.
Kind of
Air it out.
he just keeps staying with orange. He's staying with orange,
Air it out.
But Colby, kind of the same thing Colby said, where he's saying, speaking of, Gardner Minshew going to the Broncos, need someone, consistent, need someone who's been around. Russell Wilson's not going to be there anymore. So Jake Browning, I do think they're going to draft a quarterback, but I think they bring in some veteran competition, maybe someone that can start the first half of the season. And if things are not going the way they want, then they switch to that rookie. But I think Jake Browning will be that guy. Who y'all got?
Same. I think that it's going to be a Bronco. Somebody's going to sign with the Broncos.
And it's not going to be someone huge, but it's going to be someone serviceable.
Right.
Right. Chandler,
I don't think they can afford anybody, right?
I think their money's a little messed up. Let me double check. Chandler, you give me your take.
It's the second time I've asked a question and we're not ready. So
no, it's fine. No, it's fine. I think that's an interesting take.
Yeah. I think I looked at it the other day.
Yeah, let's check their cap space right now.
Yeah, I am. So give me where you think he's going?
I mean, Browning to the Browns just sounds too fun, realistically. But I honestly don't think it's going to happen. I think he stays with Cincinnati. I think they're going to fight like hell to keep him there because he showed up as Joe Burrow's replacement when he went down. and performed well. Still won games for the team. Still threw over 300 yards, without throwing an interception in a game. I think he was beyond serviceable. I know you said serviceable. I think he could start somewhere. Yeah, like y'all are talking Broncos. Without a doubt, he could start somewhere. But I don't think Joe Burrow's going anywhere unless he just becomes an injury risk. And Browning might be okay for one more season, just behind and like biding his time and waiting and learning some more. But I don't know. I'd like to see him move. I'd like to see him start just like Gardner, but I don't think he does.
Since they can throw some money around too, I think. So
yep.
yeah,
Since
they can retain him.
Cincinnati Bengals have $61 million in cap space.
Oh,
Obviously,
yeah.
20 of that is going to T. Higgins.
That'd be my price to get off the couch.
Yeah, there you go. But
what do you have?
And
Give me
we were on the right track. The Broncos are 28th in salary cap space with negative 25 million. So to sign someone to a decent deal, they're gonna have to move some.
Could y'all imagine if your job was in the negative and just operating on a daily basis?
Like you got us into negative 25 million.
Like what?
Colby brought this up off air. I don't have any notes. I don't know if you guys do, but since we're talking about Broncos, Russell Wilson is not going to be a Bronco, it seems. Does anybody where do we have him going? Does anyone have an idea?
I still think Russell Wilson can play.
He was, as far as quarterback rating goes, he was in the top 10 all year long. All year long, as far as quarterback rating goes. And quarterback rating is a number that accumulates completion percentage, yards, touchdowns, everything. And he was top 10. I know it probably wasn't sexy, but I mean, it is what it is. The number's a number. If we look at that type of thing, Russell Wilson, who are we thinking?
Man, that's just tough. You'd have to just look at all the teams that are looking to have a quarterback, a top 10 at least, and
if
you got
Belichick was still at the Patriots,
Patriots.
I would think he would. No, Russell Wilson might annoy the shit out of Bill Belichick.
Could he be a backup?
He's gonna he might compete somewhere. Does Russell Wilson head to Atlanta? I mean,
is Russell Wilson a top 10 quarterback?
No, not today. No,
top
not
15.
Today.
I would need to really see that list of 15.
I might put him at 15.
Yeah.
Or 16 because he still has talent. He just isn't the Russell Wilson we know and love. He's just that was not only a down year, it was a sad year.
It just seemed like he fell off the face of the planet, man. Because he was playing he was so good in Seattle, and then he gets to Denver, and it's just like, no, I don't know how to play.
How cool would it be if he backed up CJ Stroud?
Oh God,
they're pretty similar.
Pretty cool.
They're pretty similar.
No, I think I try not to think like I know these guys personally because none of us do.
You don't have phone numbers, dude?
I don't have Russell Wilson's phone number. Hey, but he can give me Sierra's phone number though. Legit. No.
Easy.
But I truly think that he has an ego on him. Not in a necessarily super negative way, but I think he's a competitive dude. I think he showed that he can still play. So I think a team like the Patriots that have zero quarterback help, none, goose egg. I really think that he could help someone like that. If you want to throw a curveball in Atlanta, because Atlanta did well enough to where they don't have a crazy draft pick. So maybe all the quarterbacks are gone up to that point. Does he go to the New York Giants? They need to figure
veto time, baby. The veto.
He got
Tommy
benched by Tyrod. I mean, but again, there's a whole community behind Tyrod Taylor. Don't even get me started about that.
Yeah,
but
we got a whole offseason to get through.
He's gotta go somewhere where he's the perfect guy to bring in to compete with a rookie. I think so. But moving on.
I like the Falcons.
I mean, it makes sense. Can he light a fire under Ritter?
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, you're invested in that, so you have to
take the job and use your weapons because he's well familiar with that. Not many weapons in Denver, not as many weapons.
And it's so funny because that new head coach, they asked him because Atlanta is notoriously known for having weapons and not using them, and then they asked that coach, what makes you excited about coaching Atlanta, and he said, Bijan Robinson and Drake London.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
Instant,
I love, we're going to take ownership that we have some stars on our team. And I do think Bijan Robinson is a star. I think Drake London, I won't say star, but he's very good.
Robinson surprised me last year for sure.
Yeah. So I think Colby drafted him on accident.
And
Yep.
I mean, the rest of us lost but one person, but
Yeah.
it was a
It
good
doesn't
time.
matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. So, anybody have any football thoughts before we transition?
Draft time, baby.
You want to do the draft? Let's do it. Okay. So, this was something we've added to the formula. Last episode, we did the best sports jerseys of all time draft. Today, we have an interesting topic. The draft pool today will be really great players on bad teams. What's your first pick, Colby?
This is strategic, so that's why I'm going
Strategic.
with
Do
that's
your
why I'm
picks,
going with
man.
this.
You're an
I'm
asshole.
going Calvin Johnson.
Oh, that's perfect.
Ooh.
He broke the receiving record in 2012 with 1,964 yards,
I didn't even
and
think about him.
the Lions were 4-12 that year.
That is
That's rough.
such a crazy pick.
And
Jeez Louise.
also, the Lions were the only team in history that went 0-16 in 2008 while he was on that team. And he also has the most consecutive yards over 100 or over 100 receiving yards per game, most consecutive games, and it's 8. So we all know Megatron, just a beast.
I got his phone number.
Arguably one of the best receivers to ever do it. And it's sad that he was on the Detroit Lions at that particular time because it really was a wasted effort.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I'll go with my number one pick. I am taking 2019 Christian McCaffrey.
Oof.
He had a total of 2,392 yards and 19 touchdowns, and the team went 5-11. So that will be my first pick, 2019 Christian McCaffrey. What do you got, Chandler?
All right, round one. Sorry, Coaches. I got
ahead.
Steven Jackson, St. Louis Rams. One of my
That's a good
favorite
pick.
players to
That's a
watch
good pick.
growing up, but he had 8 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler, 2006 scrimmage yard leader in the entire NFL, and he's the only player in the NFL with 1,500 rush yards and 750 receiving yards in a single season. Number one. We'll follow that up with my number 2. Oh, and by the way, Steven Jackson, nothing to show for it besides those accolades. Same thing with this guy. Mike Trout, Los Angeles Angels.
You got mine.
Rookie of the year. Rookie of the year 2012, 9-time Silver Slugger, 3-time MVP, most recently in 2019. It is lost on so many people that is just 5 years ago. Like, this guy can still play, and it's unreal.
Was it 45 homers in 2019?
I don't have that up in front of me.
I think I had it written down. Yeah,
that sounds
it was a
good
lot.
enough. Man.
It was a lot.
He crushed it.
Okay, so it's on me now. You took that off my board. I'll be honest with you.
You're welcome.
I am going to go with 2004 Randy Johnson for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Good pick.
He went 16-14 with a 2.6 ERA, and that team won 51 games total.
And 16 of them were his.
Yep. 04 Randy Johnson will be my pick, my next pick. What you got, Colby?
Same team as Mike Trout. I'm gonna go Shohei Ohtani.
Beautiful.
2018.
It's so good, dude.
So 2018, 2023 with the Angels. Never seen a playoff. He was a 3-time All-Star. Went 38-19 as a pitcher. 300 ERA, 606 strikeouts, and
3 ERA, dude.
274 batting average with 171 home runs. That's 34 home runs a year with 437 RBIs. You mean to tell me that you got Shohei and Mike on the same team and you ain't going to the playoffs?
We're gonna talk to our grandkids.
Shohei.
We're gonna talk to our grandkids and be like, let me tell you about Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. They were on the same team.
Yep.
All right, Colby, you go back to back.
Oh, I do. Okay, so
number 3.
All right, this is number 3. So we're gonna go Joe Thomas.
Yeah, it's such a good pick.
And he played 11 seasons with the Cleveland Browns. He went to the Pro Bowl 10 times. In that span, the Cleveland Browns were 48-128. He played 10,363 consecutive snaps, and with 6,680 pass block attempts, he's only allowed 30 sacks.
Yep, that'll do it.
So that's for sure. Arguably the best to ever do it.
Somebody leave us that math in the comments. 6,000 divided by 30.
Yep.
So with my next pick, I am going to go 2006 Allen Iverson. He averaged 33 points a game, 7 assists and 2 steals, and they went 38 and 44. So they were really bad. 33 points, 7 assists, and 2 steals. Was distributing, was scoring like a madman, and was playing crazy defense. So I'm going, was it 06? Allen Iverson. What you got, Chandler?
So, third round, number 3 pick, Steve Largent, Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, the Seahawks reception leader.
Well, we'll just take it right to it, man. He held the majority of all receiving yards in the NFL by the time he retired. But yes, he had the franchise record, 1,237, broken in 2020 by DK Metcalf. 7-time Pro Bowler, 2-time NFL receiving leader in 1979 and 1985. The furthest he got was losing the AFC title game in 1984. That was it. Underrated. Well, not everybody knows Steve Largent.
Everybody knows Steve Largent.
But, definitely got to pick him up there. Coming in at number 4, he's only been in the league a couple years, but we're going with Bobby Witt Jr., incredible athlete.
Yep.
to put up 20 homers, 30 steals in your rookie year, and then 30 homers, 40 plus steals in your sophomore year. And then to sign that contract, I mean, Kansas City can only look up from this point in time, but I tell you what, those last 2 years have been rough, losing over 100 games. But Bobby Witt Jr. is a beast, and hopefully they can build off of him, but he's coming in at number 4 for me.
I love it. With my 4th pick, I am going to take 2000 Terrell Owens. He had 97 catches, 1,451 yards, and 13 touchdowns, and that team went 6-10. So
Rough.
2000 Terrell Owens. Colby, what you got?
So I only have one left, so I'm kind of picking through the
You got a couple stolen, huh?
Yeah, I had a few stolen. So I'm gonna kind of just go with Barry Sanders here.
Yep.
He was a 10-time Pro Bowler. He's rushed over 15,000 yards, 99 touchdowns in 10 years. He only played in 6 playoff games.
That sucks.
I really think that, like, if you would have plugged him in anywhere else, he would have at least had a ship. You know what I mean? So, yeah, one of the greats to ever do it. Just sad that he wasn't able to get a ring. So I'm gonna go with that guy. And
and this round off your team.
This is actually my favorite, and you guys are gonna hear some
Tiger
stats
Woods
here. Okay. Tiger Woods. I actually have this guy's rookie
Don't
card.
steal my pick now, man. Come on.
I don't think any of you guys are even gonna know this guy.
It's Tiger Woods.
It's Ernie Banks, and he
Banks.
played with the Chicago Cubs from 1953 to 1971. That's 19 seasons. He was a 14-time All-Star. He never played in one postseason. He holds the record. He holds the record for most games without a postseason, and that's 2,528 games. He was a 2-time NL League MVP. He was a 2-time home run leader. He was a 2-time RBI leader. His stats were 274 batting average. He had 512 home runs and over 1,600 RBIs. So, yeah, I think he's probably one of the best to ever do it and never get to play in a postseason game.
And that's Colby's team. Colby's team rounds off with Calvin Johnson, Shohei Ohtani, Joe Thomas, Barry Sanders, Ernie Banks. And then I will round off my team with 03-04 Tracy McGrady's last year with the Orlando Magic. He averaged 28, 6 and 6 with 2 steals, and that team only won 21 games. 03-04 Tracy McGrady.
Tracy was so good.
Oh my gosh. One of the biggest, if he could stay healthy, things ever.
For sure. Give us your recap, Brandon.
Oh, you got one more.
No,
mine? Yeah, I got Christian McCaffrey, 2019 Christian McCaffrey, 04 Randy Johnson, 06 Allen Iverson, 2000 Terrell Owens, and then 03-04 Tracy McGrady.
That might be my favorite list right there.
Ooh.
After let's hear you,
And
Chandler. But
Eh,
I really like
he's
that
like, hey,
list
hey,
right
let
now.
me we'll
I,
let you
no,
finish. I'm gonna
I
let you
really like
I'm
finish.
gonna
that
let you finish,
He's
but no.
Kanye. I'm gonna let you finish.
No,
I
so
had
this
AI,
one
by the way.
this one's
I could
not
see by the way you threw
necessarily
your hat.
Yep.
this one's not necessarily reaching, but it's just giving love to a team and a player that they're not getting a lot of love right now. Because sorry, Detroit, you're not really capitalizing on your free wings from Wingstop here. Cade Cunningham with the Pistons, and this year, 2023, the guy's averaging 21.9 points a game, which isn't absolutely stellar, but with what he's working with, and then 7.5 assists. So we're getting close to a double double. And who the hell is he passing the ball to? Nobody. I think it's impressive what this guy's doing. He's trying to take control of a younger team that just isn't performing well. And man, if he was somewhere else where the veterans could coach him up, ooh, it'd be pretty
It's
good.
coming. It's
Yeah,
coming.
but we'll see what's up. But yeah, that rounds me out at 5.
Chandler's team, Steven Jackson, Mike Trout. The Steve Largent pick is something spectacular. Bobby Witt Jr., which if he has more opposite of success, then that pick looks juicier as time goes on.
Yeah.
And then you end it with Cade Cunningham, Cade and them. That's beautiful. And
Damn it,
that's our
Bobby.
draft, ladies and gentlemen. That was so much fun to research for. That was so much fun to do. I love
Yeah,
that one. That made me
I had
so
a lot of fun
happy.
with that one.
That had to be so. Okay, so Colby, you want to get us to some golf stuff?
Oh yeah,
Some
man. You
golf
know,
Take it
stuffs?
away,
I'm the
Some
man.
golf
golf
guy, right?
stuffs? You're the
That's just
golf
my
guy.
thing.
He
Full stuff
called me
golf.
from he calls me today. I'm working and Colby's just like, dude, I'm on the green right now. I'm on the green. You hear the Mercedes-Benz golf cart in the back, and
Yeah,
he's like, hold on, I just eagled a par six, and I had a
yeah.
question for you. I'm like, I'm in a basement at some store, and I'm just like, I hate this dude right now.
Damn it, Bobby. Yeah, that's
What
what I
we
was
got?
doing. Okay, so just for clarification, when I give you guys these lineups, usually when there's a tournament going on, the second day is happening. So, or the first day is already happening, and these lineups are for the second day, and these are showdowns. So it is for who plays good that particular day. It's not who wins the whole thing. This is just who I think is going to stay hot and they're going to shoot hot on that particular day based off of how they're playing now. So my lineup, this is a showdown, so it's not a double up. I got some confidence in this lineup because they're going pretty cheap. Some big names are going for pretty cheap. So what I have my first, we'll do most expensive first, and I actually was surprised I got this guy. We got Scotty Scheffler at 11.6, and he's tied for 10th. I believe he's at -4. But Scotty is arguably the best player right now. Him and John Rahm are top two. You can switch them out any way you want, but Scotty and John Rahm, those guys are the best. But if there's any way you can fit Scotty Scheffler in a lineup and you got really good names, you're doing really well. And I think I did that with this lineup. So we got Scotty Scheffler at 11.6. We got Patrick Cantley. He's at 9,800. He's in first right now. And I believe the leader has he's under 7 right now. So he's shooting 7 under right now. And Patrick Cantley is one of those guys, like I always say, if he's in the top 5, odds are he's going to stay in the top 5. This guy don't die. He's one of the slowest players, just like Bryson DeChambeau. He's a slow player. Sometimes he's hard to watch if you're a golfer, but the guy balls out, and when he's hot, he's hot. So I'm going with Cantley. And I think you guys know I'm a big. Well, we'll go to that guy next, but we got Colin Morikawa too at 9,100.
Morikawa.
Morikawa is, man, he's just slick, man. Anytime he swings, it's always like close, and like I always have a big good feeling about Morikawa, and so I'm picking him, and I was able to pick him in this lineup due to these guys being so cheap. The next 3 guys that I'm about to tell you guys. So I have Brian Harmon. You guys know I like this guy, Mr. Wagglesworth. He's going for 6,800 right now. I can't believe that. Last time I told y'all to pick Brian Harmon, he was going for 9. The guy's sitting at 1 under right now. He doesn't go to even. He's gonna stay at 1 under, or he's either gonna shoot 1 under, or he's gonna go to -5. He's never gonna do worse than he started. So that's a guy that's gonna stay there for you and not shoot bad. He's one of my what do you call it? Safe picks. Always pick Brian Harmon.
It's a
If you're not
brisket.
if you're not trying to, yes, okay, I'll get to that later. And then Gary Woodland, he's going for 6,100. I think I kind of swapped out who's more expensive here, but Gary Woodland, he's playing with he played with Tiger Woods and Justin Thomas today. Those guys are usually anybody who plays with those kind of people, they always end up shooting really well. I have no idea why that happens,
Interesting.
but
I like that strategy.
Garrett, yeah, I mean, sometimes that plays into a factor, like who they're matched up with, like they vibe together, and not saying that they sit there and party because golfers they're usually they usually keep to themselves, but when they play with high competition, that elevates their game, right? And I'm not saying like Tiger Woods is just a world beater right now, but the fact that he's playing with one of the greatest of all time, plus Justin Thomas, he's playing really good right now, Gary Woodland. So I'm going with Gary Woodland. And then Adam Svensson is going for 6,600. He's tied for eighth right now, and I believe that's at 5 under. And I was really surprised that I was able to get Brian Harmon, Gary Woodland, and Adam Svensson all in the sixes. These guys, I had no idea these guys were going that low, especially Brian Harmon, especially that guy. So those three guys were the main reason why I was able to put Scotty Scheffler in this lineup, which I was super stoked. I was doing it before, I was like, holy crap, I can put Scotty Scheffler in here. But yeah, super, super stoked. So what we got Scotty Scheffler at 11.6. We got Patrick Cantley at 98. We got Colin Morikawa at 91. We got Brian Harmon at a crazy 68. I can't believe it's that low. And then you have Adam Svensson for 6,600 and Gary Woodland for 6,100. That exercises all of your salary cap. That is maxed out. And I think that is a super good lineup. My brisket is definitely going to be Brian Harmon. It's not going to be, he's not going to win it. But the guy will not lose you out on points. He will shoot well. I don't know why. I just got all faith in this guy, and he never shoots bad. So if you want to stick with somebody for cheap and he's going to shoot well, Brian Harmon's your guy. He's my brisket this time. Set him and forget him. He's going to shoot well.
Just so smooth. That's my favorite part. I would literally just shut up and let Colby talk about golf. It's literally just it's like hearing John Lennon sing,
I think you should go straight from that into talking about brisket.
He's like, so
I'll tell you, need to
prime
keep it at
rib,
about 250. Leave it on there for about 10 hours.
10 hours.
10 hours.
So let's get into some UFC. Talk a little bit more about this one, just because this is a big pay-per-view. It's not a free fight night, so more people watching, more people invested. Want to share my screen real quick and just kind of, this is the card we got going on this Saturday. Headline: Alexander Volkanovski versus Topuria. You also got Robert Whitaker versus Paulo Costa. Jeff Neal versus Ian Gary. Dvalishvili versus Henry Cejudo. You got Mackenzie Dern, Amanda Lemos, Justin Tafa. You got some bangers on this card. So I give a parlay. Colby's 90 years old, putting on his glasses. So I always give a parlay every single Saturday. They haven't been going the best, but guys, just do the opposite of what I say, then you win money. I'm helping you regardless. But at the end of the day, I want to sort of explain my parlay. This one's a little more intricate. So to start my parlay, it's going to be the third fight of the night. Josh Quinlan, Danny Barlow. I'm not picking a winner or loser. I'm picking this fight to go under 2.5 rounds. I think these guys in their past have been some bangers. They can finish the fight. Barlow, undefeated. Quinlan, he had a rough last fight, so he's coming back for a vengeance. I think these guys are going to throw some blows, and they're 170 pounds, some power in those hands. I think this fight goes under 2.5 rounds. That will be the start of my parlay.
Now, and then Brandon, does that just mean that it
just has to end?
Yeah, it won't be a decision. It'll just
correct. And it has to, the finish has to come under 2.5 rounds. So if it comes, with a minute left in the fight and the finish comes, I lose.
That's over 2.5. I got you.
So it's got to go under 2.5. That's sitting at minus 185. So favorite, but not too much of a favorite. So that's sitting there. And then, so my next one will be Delima versus Tafa. I'm going to say no, this fight does not go past 2 rounds. It's not going to complete 2 rounds. You got two big heavyweights, 265 pounds or more. They're both finishers. Delima, he can knock you out, but he can also take you to the ground and submit you. Justin Tafa, he's from New Zealand. Them dudes, they bang it out. Mark Hunt, Tai Tuivasa, all those guys from New Zealand, they come out swinging and banging. So there's not a shot this fight goes over 2 rounds. That's sitting at -300, so a big favorite, but I'm adding it to the parlay. My next one is my biggest underdog on the card, and it's Roman Kopylov. He's sitting at +200 against Anthony Hernandez. Give me Kopylov. He's a finisher. And Hernandez has been on a run lately. Don't get me wrong, but I think Kopylov gets the finish. He's a great striker. He just needs to avoid the grappling of Hernandez, and I think he cashes out at +200. So he's my favorite underdog on the card. I'm adding him to the parlay. My next one will be Ian Gary versus Jeff Neal. I am picking Ian Gary for sure. He's sitting at -230. He's quite a sizable favorite, but when you're adding him to a parlay, that value obviously gets better. I think he maintains his undefeated streak. Jeff Neal has been very inconsistent. He's got heavy hands. He shows up at times, but Ian Gary, I think, is a more put together fighter. Better with the kicks, quick with the hands, and he's got all the hype on his side. Give me Ian Gary. And then to finish off my parlay, it's a 5-leg parlay. I'm taking Alexander Volkanovski. He is sitting at -130. It's almost even money to go against this youngster. I get he's undefeated, but he hasn't been to the waters that Alexander Volkanovski has been. I know he's coming off of a knockout loss, but it was at 155 pounds. He has no business being at 155 pounds. He's a 145 pounder, and when he's there, he is unstoppable. He's done nothing but beat the best 145 pounders in the world, and he dominates them. It's not even close. Give me Volkanovski over Topuria. He's -130. That's crazy. I would put
26-3 is scary to see on
I
paper.
would put the house on Alexander Volkanovski. So
Don't
to round
actually
off,
put your house on it.
no, I don't even have a house. But to put that on
to the
parlay,
listeners.
yeah, to put that on the parlay. So it's a 5-leg parlay. So Josh Quinlan, Danny Barlow, under 2.5 rounds. Delima and Tafa, under 2 rounds. Kopylov over Hernandez outright. Ian Gary over Jeff Neal outright. Alexander Volkanovski over Topuria outright. If you parlay those bets, it's +1464. 50 wins you 732. That's what I'm going with. And it's going to be a great card. I'm happy that it's a pay-per-view. Bunch of free fights. I haven't been doing too well. My last 2 parlays weren't very good. So if that's the case, do the opposite of what I say. I'm helping you regardless. I'm helping you win money regardless. You either follow me when I'm right or go against me when I'm always wrong. Either way, I'm helping you out. So
yeah, read the lines or read through the lines.
That's all it is.
The decision is yours.
Don't make it more complicated than it has to be. That's what I'm talking about. So that is my UFC take. That's going to be the whole card's amazing. So
yes,
I'm definitely going to be heavily invested in that this Saturday. So
I'm glad you pulled up the actual bouts. That way we could actually see it.
No, I got you. So now I want to do a little quick segment before we get to ranking our baseball players. This is a segment called Player Perspective. I'm going to show you 2 players side by side. Their faces and names are going to be covered. You just see the stats. And I want you guys to kind of talk about it, say who you'd rather have, and then we'll see who they actually are, and then we'll move on that way. So I'm also going to
CJ Stroud.
I'm going to share my screen again. Let me know if you guys can see this pretty well.
Kenny Rogers.
You are good.
Here we go. So these are 2 MLB pitchers. As you see, one gentleman's started more games than the other, but one gentleman is sitting at 12-9 with a 4.46 ERA, 202 strikeouts. Again, this guy has played more last season. This is all going off last season, by the way.
Okay, last season.
Okay, this is last season. One guy, his strikeout numbers and the total numbers are down a little bit, but it's only because he played much less innings. So tell me, looking at these stats, who would you rather have, left or right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with right, but I feel like I know who left is.
Okay. Chandler would know.
No, I'm not. I ain't guessing.
No, that's beautiful.
It seems super familiar. The
Okay.
193 innings pitched and 202 strikeouts. Like,
This would be actually crazy if you figure it out.
I think I might know who left is too.
that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, it's
Maybe. I don't
So
know.
like
we got
the kicker is the 4.46 ERA.
we
That's what I'm
got
looking at too.
Aaron Nola versus Tanner Bibby.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense. Was he really a 4.46?
so Tanner's right and
Yeah, Tanner's
Aaron
on the
Nola's
right.
left.
And if y'all watch episode 1, yeah,
If
Tanner Bibby's on
y'all
my
watch
radar.
episode 1.
I had
Did
him
have
and
a
the dude killed it.
4.46.
Tanner Bibby killed it.
Yeah,
Jesus.
so you got
Yeah,
Aaron Nola on the left and you got Tanner Bibby on the right. And to put things in perspective, okay? To put things in perspective, on ESPN's projections, right? Aaron Nola is 10th, the 10th projected best pitcher, right?
yeah.
And then Tanner Bibby, let me find it.
Oh,
Where'd he
he's
go?
down there.
I
It's
missed
like
him.
Yeah,
Hold
you
on.
might not even have to pay
25,
for him
30
this
or
year.
something like that. Yeah.
No, hold on. I'm finding it. Yeah, Tanner Bibby's 48th.
Yep.
Crazy.
So the projected going into next year, Aaron Nola is 10th. So they say he's going to be the 10th best starting pitcher.
And
And
wasn't
Tanner
Bibby
Bibby is 48th.
wasn't Bibby a rookie?
I think, yeah, it was his rookie season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I don't know if he considered rookie status or if this will be his rookie year. I'll
Yeah.
have to look into that.
Mhm.
So that's interesting to think about, right? You
Super
got
interesting to think about.
you got
Yeah.
a guy who's 4.48 ERA or whatever. He's sitting
Yeah.
there. Let's
Down
say
year.
10th best pitcher. And then you got a guy seeming to be more efficient at 48th? 48th?
Yeah.
Is it the
Phillies or Guardians, you know?
Yep.
that's what it comes down to. But yeah,
Yeah.
Nola's been pretty underwhelming as of late.
Last year he was underwhelming.
Yeah,
He was.
man.
apparently they're expecting a bounce back, right?
They should. Yeah. Because I don't expect the same from Zach Wheeler. Like Zach Wheeler stepped up last year, Nola kind of sank.
Mhm.
Let's see.
I,
Hold on.
I expect the opposite.
For Aaron Nola, they have him. They think he's going to turn it. So they have him last season. Obviously, he had a 4.46 ERA, but this year they say he's going to turn around and pull back a 3.77.
I'm such a burn me once kind of guy when it comes to fantasy
Yeah,
baseball.
I'm never going back.
I'll
Colby's
never
never
pick Nola.
going to Hunter Green ever again.
No.
No, tell me. You want to talk about Kyle Schwarber?
Oh God.
You want to talk about Kyle Schwarber? Anywho,
Schwarber!
so do you guys want to get to ranking our first baseman?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can jump into it.
Let's
Yeah.
do it. So
Dude, I like that player perspective, man. You need to have like 3 or 4 of them.
That was
That'd
a
be
good
pretty
one,
cool.
yeah.
Just throw them out. you
I
know?
forgot last minute to pull that
No,
up.
no, you're good.
But I was thinking maybe in future episodes we can maybe go football, do some quarterbacks, do some receivers,
Yeah.
some running backs, and then pitchers. We can do, batters, stuff like that.
It might even be fun to take whatever free agent list we're using for that week and take 2 of those players and kind of
Who
include
would
it
you rather have type thing.
if they're both free agents. Yeah.
Anywho,
All for it.
so every episode leading up to our fantasy baseball draft, we're coming on less than 40 days away. We're in a
Yeah,
big salary cap
close.
draft, and our keepers were just announced, so it's a very important time for us. But we've done starting pitchers, we've done relievers, we've done catchers. We're trying to break down positions leading up until draft day. Today we are talking about first baseman. Chandler, you're going last. Don't worry about it.
Oh no, I don't mind.
No, you're going last, and we're
Uh-huh.
going to give you that runway. I feel like I never started off, so I'm going to start it off. Look, my
Bring it.
list, I want to talk about my list. My list has nothing to do with who I think the best 5 first basemen are going to be. They're just top 5 guys that I like, that I want on my team. There's not necessarily a rhyme or reason. Obviously, 1 to 5 is the ranking, but as far as everyone else that's off the list, I didn't feel like talking about him. How about that? So
Swing it.
number 1, Matt Olson. That's my boy. I had so I feel like every time I played Matt Olson, because Chandler had Matt Olson, I feel like he was hitting a home run every at bat. Dude hits a high batting average. He smacks them out the park. He's gonna forever hit 40 plus. And who doesn't want that on their team? The average The strikeouts aren't terrible. Could be better, but they're not terrible.
It's because you had Schwarber to compare it to.
Look, I don't talk about your flaws. Don't talk about mine. I paid $22 for Kyle Schwarber.
Well, now you're talking about your flaws, you know?
I know.
Look.
Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm just like $22. But number 2, Freddie Freeman. Look, you hear me. I'm sounding like a broken record on these Dodger players. I think they're all going to be good. They're all going to be good. I think that Dodgers team, unless, I was about to say something bad. So I was going to say, unless like a We Are Marshall happens, that team is going to be amazing. So Freddie Freeman, he gets the stolen bases as a first baseman, which is rare to come by. So that on top of a crazy batting average, on top of having Ohtani, having more guys on base as batters are going to be consistent. Give me Freddie Freeman. Number 3, my first baseman for my team, I'm going Christian Walker. I think he's undervalued. As far as if you're going on a salary cap standpoint, I think he will put up numbers comparable to a Freddie Freeman. He'll put up numbers comparable to, Guerrero, Vladdy. He's gonna put up numbers comparable, but and he'll even steal 10 bases, which most people give you none. Most first basemen give you none. So Christian Walker, he's gonna hit 30 plus. He's gonna teeter 100 RBIs. He's gonna steal a handful of bags for you, and he's gonna be just like the Dodgers. He's gonna be on a really good team that's gonna have a lot of base runners in Arizona. So that's number 3. Number 4, a guy that I think I'm the only person who knows who he is. I think I'm the only guy that loves him to death. Josh Naylor of the Guardians. I love this guy. When he's batting average is crazy. He was hurt for times last year. That's why the at-bats aren't crazy. He was a platoon guy. Then he started playing every day. And when he plays every day, he's getting extra base hits. He's so consistent on that team. I think he's going to crank into 25 plus homers this year. And I think he's going to be, he'll lead the team in RBIs. I think so. So then number 5, Tristan Casas for Boston. That's another dude. I love him. I think he's going to hit near 30 home runs. He's going to be on a Boston team where I think he will play all the time. Boston, they're really going to need home run power support. They're going to need RBI support, and I think he provides that. I think he's going to be the everyday first baseman. That's my 5. Those are the 5 guys I like. I have 2 honorable mentions. Rhys Hoskins, Milwaukee. Love him. I think he's going to have a great season. And then for the Cincinnati Reds, Christian Encarnacion Strand. That dude hit 13 home runs in just over 200 at-bats. That dude can pop. And again, a really good Cincinnati Reds team with De La Cruz, with McClain, with Steer, all those guys, a lot of base runners. And if De La Cruz is on the base, if he's on first, he's coming home on a single. So, and he played very limited and was smacking home runs with, I think, a plus 270 batting average, 13 home runs in just over 200 at-bats. Put him full-time. I think he's going to crank 20 plus. I think he's going to have a lot of base runners. I think he's going to have a really good, surprising season. And I don't even think anyone's going to pay for him. So there you go.
Let's go, man. That was fantastic.
That was good.
That was good. Nice. Well done.
Colby?
Good names. So y'all know how I do mine. I do my top 5, who I think is going to just kill it this year. And then I have the ones that I'm keeping an eye on. You guys don't mind me throwing out the stats, right? Is that not?
Is that
okay? Is that okay? Okay. Because I don't want to seem like, yeah. So, because, me and Brandon, we kind of got, the same ones. But so top 5 first basemen obviously is going to be Matt Olson. Holy crap, 54 home runs. Where the hell did that come from? He's first in that. He had a 283 batting average. He had 139 ribbies, and he's got a 993 OPS. He's first, and fourth in those categories. And then you got Freddie Freeman. He went 331 batting average, 29 home runs, 102 RBIs, 976 OPS. Of course, you're going to put Freddie Freeman up there. That's just what's going to happen. Y'all can correct me on this. I think he was either switched to first base or wasn't playing it, and then they put him there. Bryce Harper.
Yeah, they put him there.
They put him at first base, and
he did a good job.
Yep.
Yeah, he did really good. And I mean, I had him last year. He killed it once he started playing again because he was injured in the first part of the season. He had a 283 batting average, 21 home runs, 72 RBIs, and 900 OPS. And then you got number 4, Pete Alonso. He struggled with batting average. He was batting 212, but he also hit 46 home runs. It's doing kind of hopefully he doesn't do Kyle Schwarber it too much. Kind of bring it back, to like 240, and we're good. Alonso, and he had 118 ribbies and 821 OPS. He was second in RBIs. Number 5, this top 5 list, I could easily switch this out with my guys to keep an eye on. It's Vladimir Guerrero. He was very underwhelming this last year. He went 264 with the batting average, 26 home runs, 94 RBIs, 78 OPS. He batted over 600 times, and he only came away with 26 home runs. That's kind of crazy to me, knowing that guy was such a beast past few years, and for him to only put out 26 is a little underwhelming for sure. But I can't keep him off the list just basically because I know he is good. I know he's got it, but just the way he's been playing, I kind of am,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are my top 5, and like I said, I could easily swap these guys out with Vladdy. That's just how I feel about it. I did have this one guy at first, but I'm going to leave him last because he was injured last year. But my first one would be Yandy Diaz. He batted 330, 22 home runs, 78 RBIs, 932 OPS. Those are the two things that stand out to me is his batting average and his OPS. He was top 10 in those categories. You got Paul Goldschmidt. He batted 268, 25 home runs, 80 RBIs, 810. He's really consistent. Then you got Brandon's boy, Christian Walker.
My
He
boy.
batted 258. He smacked over 33 home runs, which is really good. 103 RBIs and an 830 OPS. And another guy that Brandon brought up was Josh Naylor. Batted over 300.
Taylor!
Yep, Naylor.
That's
Batted
my
over,
boy.
batted over 300, only 17 home runs, which is fine. He'll get better. And he had 97 RBIs, almost 100 RBIs. You can't argue with that. If you got
Suck it,
somebody
Chandler.
if you got somebody going up to 100 RBIs, I think you're doing something good. And then he's got an 842 OPS. So my last guy is because he got hurt, kind of iffy on him. And I loved him to death because Chandler was the reason why I picked this guy up.
All right.
But it's Vinny Pasquantino. He batted 247, 9 home runs, 26 RBIs, and 762 OPS. He had a torn labrum and he had surgery 3 months ago, so it's really unsure how he's going to be after that injury and surgery. So we're kind of unknown about him, but if he returns and he's the same Vinny Pasquantino, I might put him 5 or 4. Hell,
Pascantino.
I might put him
The
at 3.
best name in baseball.
If he
Yeah,
comes back
Vinny.
healthy and he does what he was doing, I would probably put him at 3
If he played
because he
for a
was
New
balling.
New York team, it'd be him and Danny DeVito
The
just
best
like going
names
at it.
ever. Just
Yeah.
Pasquantino.
Yeah.
all right,
To the
everybody
Jersey
clear
Shore.
out. Clear
No,
out.
easy now, easy
Clear
now.
out.
We're gonna run through top 5, and again, we play points
Yeah.
leagues, and so not rotisserie or anything like that. I'm pretty sure it's standard across the board as far as like how the points are allocated. So I'm just gonna go quick 1 through 5, and then I've got a top 3 to keep my eye on outside the top 10. And as always, I'm gonna bring you a hot flop and Jim. So top 5, number 1 coming in just because of the addition of Shohei Ohtani. We thought he was going to slumber a little bit last year because Trey Turner left the team. That did not happen. He put up a career year and set the MLB record in doubles. Freddie Freeman, that guy is just unbelievable. He's going to bat in the 3 hole because it's going to be Mookie, Ohtani, and Freddie. And my goodness,
That's crazy.
It's going to be an onslaught.
That should be illegal.
It should be illegal. Yeah. Which the deferments that they're doing with payments should also be illegal. That's another episode, though.
1,000%.
Number 2, I got Matt Olson. I think he probably crushes over 50 again this year. I think he's on the Atlanta Braves, which have been one of the hottest teams in the most recent years, most runs scored in the most recent years. He's not slowing down anytime soon. I hope that he gets his strikeouts under control. But when you swing that heavy of a bat, man, and you just got to make contact to put it out, you strike out as many times as you freaking need to.
Unless you're Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, unless you're Kyle Schwarber. Really just don't pay for him. But number
Not
3 coming in.
$22.
Number 3 coming in. I think he actually finally comes through with his breakout year. I've got Vladdy Guerrero Jr. He is on a potent Toronto team. That team's not going to slow down. I think they go a little bit further this year than they did last year. And I think it's off the back of his bat and Boba Chet, but we'll get there later as well. Number 4 coming in hot, and this is because I think he stays healthy at this position. I think that he becomes an everyday player because of his health. Bryce Harper, no longer relegated to right field or DH. Put him at that first base slot. Keep him safe. Keep him healthy. Keep him in the lineup. A stellar individual to watch, especially as it gets closer to the end of the year. Second half player. If you need one, look for him. Number 5, Christian Walker. I am high on all of Arizona's offense, almost all. Eugenio Suarez can kind of miss the boat with that one, but I really like what they put together. I think they have another chance to make another run at it, just like they did. And again, I think the only thing they were lacking last year was confidence, and how far they got. So 3 to keep an eye on outside the top 10. In this case, Vinny Pasquantino is my patient 0, so we won't be talking about him. Love the guy. Hope he recovers well. My goodness, I think great things are to come, especially for that Kansas City team. But number 1, and this is a caveat, he has to get those strikeouts under control. I think 171 was, 171 was the number for last year. Spencer Torkelson, everyday first baseman for Detroit, has nothing to lose playing for that team. I think last year he was trying to do too much and kind of be a catalyst for the team. I hope he understands that his team sucks this year and just goes out there and has fun and enjoys his time and just rakes, because he has that capability. Number 2, Josh Bell, Miami Marlins. He's probably either going to hit 3, 4, or 5 hole, especially with the loss of Jorge Soler. But I think that he actually, the opposite of Torkelson, I think that he shoulders that responsibility. I think that he was overshadowed in the last 2 teams that he played on, that being Cleveland and San Diego. He's got an opportunity to shine here, especially with Luis Arraez, who just seemingly shows up and gets on base. So last but not least, our guy, Jose Abreu, one of the best first basemen statistically in the league as far as defensive fielding percentage, one of the best contact guys prior to last year. Let's not forget that this guy won an MVP, 2015, 2016. I might get my dates wrong. Coming up on 9 years ago. Yeah, he's not as old or he's older than he once was. He's not as young as he once was. But playing a Minute Maid, I think he's finally got it figured out. I think he's going to start pulling those homers over that left field Crawford box, and really increasing his batting average. I think he'll change his approach at the plate and be a huge contributor. He might hit the 6, 7 hole, but again, with that Houston lineup in front of him, plenty of RBIs opportunities. My flop for the season at first base, and I hate to do this to you, Colby. I know this is Brandon's favorite part.
I know who it is.
Yeah, you do know who it is. But I hate to do this to you, man, because you put him in your top 5. It's Pete Alonso. I'm not high on the guy. I don't think he hits 40 homers this year, which is respectable. If you hit 39, I'm still right. You're still great. Like, no worries. I think he scores 30 points, at least 30 points less than he did last year. That's pulling him at about 650 instead of the 700 plus that he's projected for. And I actually think that he has a career year in strikeouts. And that is terrifying because his rookie year, he had 183. I think he tops it. If it's by 2, that's fine. 185, 186. But I think that just something doesn't click with him this year. I think the Mets are kind of in shambles, trying to figure out what the hell they're going to do moving forward. Francisco Lindor and now his name is blanking me, center fielder Brandon Nimmo are the 2 to look out for with the Mets. My gem for this year, first baseman for the Chicago White Sox, Andrew Vaughn. He did have a career year in strikeouts last year. He also had a career homer year, a career batting average year, a career extra base hit year, on base percentage, everything. Literally every single one of his metrics for his 4th year in the league was a career year. He just keeps getting better. And if that Chicago White Sox offense batting order can stay healthy, the middle of their infield is terrible. So don't look out for the 7, 8 hole, even the 9 hole with the addition of Maldonado. 1 through 6 is looking pretty potent. If Luis Robert can stay healthy, if Moncada can stay healthy, look for this guy to just be a source of consistency for you throughout the entire season. That rounds it out, though. Oh, by the way, he's got plenty of opportunities. He was pushing 600 at-bats last year. But yeah, that rounds it out for me. Again, personally, avoid Pete Alonso. What's funny is in our league, he was already kept, so nobody has to worry about paying for him. I don't think that he goes for, I mean, you could tell me he's being drafted for $8 right now, and I'd probably tell you to avoid him. Andrew Vaughn, I think is worth more of the $8 than Pete Alonso is.
There's the clip. All right, we clipped it. All right, guys. No, honestly,
That was good.
Chandler is such a finagler when it comes to fantasy. I almost don't believe a freaking word he says
You got to
because I
though.
feel like he's just saying shit to drop the value so that he can get them, or he's saying people are good to get
Yeah,
you to pay for.
this isn't a podcast. This is
I
just
don't
a
believe
draft finagling.
a
Yeah,
thing.
absolutely. Yeah, Pete Alonso's going for 22 in ESPN leagues, and that's
I wouldn't pay that much for him. I know that.
You know who I
that's
paid
But
22
spicy.
for?
I think he's good though.
I paid
Kyle
22 for
Schwarber.
Christian Walker.
Dude, he's going for like 9. Are you serious?
Oh yeah, you and I are gonna be fighting over him, Zach Geloff. We'll get to him in second base segment, but
Okay,
I'm telling you, man, there's some people that are overvalued and undervalued this year, and it is blowing my
dude,
mind.
so now I think when I start prepping more strategically for the draft, because I did a little prep before and it was kind of just where I'm going to allocate my money. But
Yep,
now I know who I can actually go for and who I can't. I
That's
thought
the
the same
beauty of it.
thing. There's some dudes where I'm like, you're going for $4?
mm-hmm.
What? And I think you'll do just as much as this guy who's going for 18, 19.
Yep.
Yeah, do me a favor next time you take a look. Look at how many multi-positioned players are available this year,
Mhm.
because everything reset after last year, and they're going to approach the multi-position eligibility different this year. It is very slim, very, very, very slim. And the fact that like Spencer Steer is 3-position eligible is ridiculous because he's might be one of 3, and then there might be another, 2 dozen of double eligible players.
I think Alec Baum is one of them too.
It's pretty wild. Yeah, first and third. Yeah.
Question. So a guy that I thought if you would have asked me middle of last season, will he be kept going into the next? Ellie De La Cruz did not get kept. Someone's either going to pay a lot
Yeah.
or someone's walking away with a
We'll,
stolen base machine.
we'll see. And in a roto league, I'm right there with you. But again, pushing 208 strikeouts.
No, he's just out there. He's out there just guessing, dude. He's
Yeah.
out there just guessing.
It's rough. And he had a great first half, and he came out hot, and then the big leagues caught up to him. Let's see what he's going for. He's going for 14. I pay 4.
I swear, if he pays $1 more than 4, I'm screaming at him.
Oh, I'm not. I would take Matt McClain over Ellie. But again, we'll get that. We got 2 weeks.
We got weeks, dude.
Yeah,
we
2
got
weeks.
weeks. All right. Anybody with anything near and dear to their hearts that they want to share before we close it out a successful episode 3?
It's more of just comment on Chandler's top 5. You think Jose is gonna? You said he was either top 5 or someone to keep your eye on.
Someone to keep an eye on outside the top 10, and he's my last one to look at. Yeah,
Yeah.
Abreu.
Well, just going back and thinking like how his season went, and when he first started out, it's like, why did we even pay for this first baseman?
It was scary from an
Yeah.
offensive side
And
because
then
he's a
out of
great
nowhere,
defensive player. Yeah,
out of nowhere, he just starts putting the bat on the ball on the bat, whatever you want to call it. And then in the playoffs, he played pretty well too. So,
yeah.
I mean, I thought about him, but I just saw some better names. But
Last
like,
6 to 8 weeks, he did pretty well, and then
Oh,
like you said, the playoffs for sure. But
yeah, for sure.
he's a 300 average guy, man. He was just, I don't know. And again, it's got, in my mind, it's got to be crazy going from, because again, we talked about this on a previous episode. Or maybe off air. It's wild to understand that we're living through an Astros dynasty right now, right? Same thing with the Kansas City Chiefs. You look back at all of them, you're like, man, that's crazy. And like, here we are living through one as fans. Well, sorry,
Right.
Brandon, of that sports team, right?
Are the Astros a dynasty?
Yeah, you'd have to say so.
Why wouldn't they be?
Yeah.
No,
No, and this is just a strictly opinion.
No, for
Say,
sure.
why wouldn't they be, or why would they?
So I think a dynasty is, in my opinion, is more than 3 championships.
Okay.
Right.
In a span of years, like.
Yeah, like the
5, 6, 7,
the same conglomerate has to win more than, like, because you look at the Patriots, right? They got 7 of them things with the same conglomerate for the most part. The Chiefs are on 3 with the same
6.
conglomerate.
Yeah.
And then
they got the same conglomerate. It's the same core of the Astros. It's the same core.
So how many rings are we talking with that conglomerate right now? They have 2, 3?
2.
Yeah, 2. Yeah,
They have 2. Is
Yeah,
2 enough for a dynasty?
I think for I think
If
baseball.
we're including championships.
Yeah. I think
Mhm.
baseball is a very specific sport because players move more in baseball than any other sport, in my opinion. And I don't follow like hockey or soccer or something
Mhm.
like that,
Yeah,
right? So
for sure.
don't look to me for advice with that. But yeah, players. I feel like players move more in baseball than in that aspect, and that's not necessarily moving from team to team. I'm just saying like. They might have a good year and then not make the team next year. Like it is incredibly competitive. Spring training is a long process. Injuries happen. Hardly any players come back as qualified as they were before they left, right? And so I think you can take the core of the Astros, and granted, it's only 2 championships over the course of however many years you want to look
When
at
I
it.
say core, I mean pretty much Altuve and Bregman.
Yeah. Well, you've
Pretty
had
much.
Altuve and Bregman, like Presley's been there, Urquidy's been there,
Mhm.
Framber Valdez has been there,
Mhm.
Yep.
Verlander's been there. So
Mhm.
you can
Right.
look at a whole Jordan Alvarez, Michael Brantley, Kyle
Yep.
Tucker. They've all been there for those, right? So you can look at
Mhm.
it as a core, and I think that's what kind of makes them a dynasty. Is sure they might not win the ship every single year, but
Okay.
they make it so far. They do a really good job at throughout the season. They do a good job throughout the playoffs. They're a team that you look at when you're doing pre-predictions, just like analysts are today as far as doing in Vegas odds, right? They're a team that's been up there for the last 8, 9 years, maybe not
100%.
9, but years or so. And I think that puts them in dynasty perspective. But my whole point with that was like going from the Chicago White Sox to the Houston Astros. I imagine you've got a little bit of shell shock going on. Like you used to be the best player on your team, and now you're as good as the players on your team. And so I think that was probably humbling a little bit for Jose Abreu. But I think second season, man, second seasons do wonders for players. Whether it's a trade or a movement or a rookie year, what have you. Second years are it's either sophomore slump or unbelievable stats.
You got some comfort and
Exactly. Yeah.
like comfort.
Familiarity with it. Yeah.
Your living situation outside of baseball. You
Absolutely.
get acclimated to everything, and no, that makes a ton of sense to me. Yeah, I'm when
Even
it
though he's
comes
39 or whatever.
yeah, when it comes to my my sports takes, I love all teams. I try to, at least I try to. But yeah, it wasn't an anti-Astro comment. It was more just
No.
it seems like but I never really thought of the question what is a dynasty myself. I don't really
Yeah.
get into those talks. But when I think of the dynasties that I think are dynasties, like I think of Patriots, I think of the Chiefs are on one, the Golden State Warriors,
Yeah.
like I think of teams like that, the Cowboys in the 90s. I think of teams like that, and then with the Astros, when you talk about 2 championships, I'm thinking when I think of the masses idea of a dynasty, I think they would want more championships. Not necessarily me, but
I'm
just
with you.
what the overall
I'm with
consumer
you.
would think.
I think 3 is kind of the popular consensus of numbers, right? Like get at
Yeah.
least 3 with the same solid, core of individuals that you're talking about. And that kind of
So
solidifies
let me ask you
everything.
this in the same name, right? So Peyton Manning and the Colts, right? They won 1 championship. All those years of success. Was that a dynasty with only 1 championship?
No, I just called them a
No.
really good team because
Okay.
Yeah.
they weren't always
So your
consistent.
baseline is at least multiple championships. That's your
Yes, for
baseline.
sure.
Yeah,
I
I'd have
think
to
so.
because
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
anybody could win one off.
For
Look at the
sure.
Eagles.
Yeah.
The
Uh,
Astros have been to the conference championship 1, 2, 3,
it's something like
4,
6 of the last
5,
7
6.
years.
6 of the last 7 years.
And
And
again,
I know
I'm
we're
not
we're like
this
stretching the
guy.
goalpost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not this guy, but
yeah.
wouldn't someone say that just means y'all get close and don't go over the top? Like
No, I mean
I'm just
that's
saying, I'm
yeah.
saying,
That's
I'm
fair.
not
That's a
trying to
fair
be that
argument to
guy.
make. No, absolutely. I think that's a
Devil's
fair argument to
advocate, I
make.
guess you
Yeah,
would say.
yeah.
and
And won 2 of those years.
I'll give you and the viewers. I'll go ahead and say I'm biased in this sense. I'm probably considering the Astros a
For sure.
dynasty,
We're all
maybe a
from
little bit
Houston.
earlier. Yeah, maybe a little bit earlier than they deservedly so belong. But yeah, I mean, one solidifies it, right? One more solidifies it, rather. So
I
three
would agree
total.
with that. I would agree
Three
with
total
that.
solidifies it. So if they go out there and win it, I just think of it more of like I haven't seen a postseason or World Series projection in the past 7 years that
That they
hasn't had the
weren't in the
Astros on it.
conversation. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that.
And it's all written by New York beat reporters, so they always throw New York teams in there too. But whatever.
Do you think you think you got more in? You think you got more in you before you think the Astros winning some more? or
Yes.
Oh, easily. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them to win
easily?
this year.
I
Yeah.
don't know about easily, but I think we'll get one
Even
or two
if
more.
Colby's backing up,
Just
you're being
well,
crazy.
no. It's not crazy. It wouldn't be crazy to say that they do though, because they are good. They're
Yeah.
damn good.
Very
And
good. Very good.
but it's not crazy to say that they might not. But I don't know. I really think that they are top 2, top 3 team for the past 6 years.
Every year. Yeah.
And that like but at the same time, like going to Brandon's point, like you have the Dodgers, right? They're always in the playoffs every year, it seems, right? Just like the Astros, and they won
Choke
one
artist,
year.
baby.
They won one year and it was a short season, So you obviously don't say anything about them because, they get there, but they don't seem to do anything about it. But the Astros, they won 2 in that span. And what would it consider being a dynasty? Do they have to win one more? Is our what do you call it? Our what's the word for it? Like what we say would be a
Like standard.
dynasty.
Yeah,
Yes.
your standard.
What is our standard for a dynasty? Is it per sport or is it all the same? Because all sports are different. So like what would be very what I'm losing train of thought right here. Like what would be harder to do in some sports would be
I get
easier to
you.
do in another. So I'm just saying, like, is that things that we think of, or do we keep that same standard for all sports?
I hate it. I hate the
Yeah.
I hate including rings in conversations
Mhm.
because I think that there's so much that goes into winning rings, right? Like if we switch to basketball, like it's like
It's all team games, right?
Michael
It's all a
Jordan,
team
LeBron
game.
James, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, right? So it's like who has more rings? Obviously Jordan does, and that's enough for people to say, "Oh, it's Jordan," right? But there's so many factors that we either don't look at, we ignore, or whatever. Like something about the Chicago Bulls that no one ever mentions is that the team when Michael Jordan left the Bulls were still one of the best teams in the league
Mhm.
every year. They were really good. They had Scottie Pippen, best coach in the league. They were
Grant
amazing
Horace,
with
Kerr.
Jordan off the team,
Mhm.
right? And then like LeBron James, when he left his teams were awful. They
Mhm.
couldn't function without him. So how do we really gauge a measurement of who meant more to what team, right?
Mhm.
So that's like when we talk about rings and you're talking about the Astros and you were talking about including that in the dynasty conversation. It's so wishy-washy of
There's a lot. There's a lot to
and
consider. Yeah.
there's certain rings that are valued more than others.
Sure. Like the 2021 doesn't count.
Yeah, like it's interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you said it, not me. I don't
Yeah,
know,
it's bubble year,
but
COVID year.
you
None of it
said it,
counts.
not
The
me.
year doesn't exist. It just doesn't
So
exist. It won't be
yeah,
in history books. Don't even worry about it.
yeah. So it's definitely an interesting conversation, but
For the record, you do think that the Bulls in Chicago back in the '90s were a dynasty?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
probably
100%.
Yeah.
like the
Like,
number one, right?
yeah, like the standard of a
Yeah.
dynasty.
Um, no,
Yeah,
absolutely. So it was that was a great off the cuff, non-scripted conversation.
yeah, that's pretty neat.
I love chatting with you guys. It's a good fun.
Yeah,
Does anybody have anything else near and dear to their hearts?
Dinner
yeah,
time.
the 93, 94 Bulls, 95, they lost in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, so they were in the conference finals those 2 years that Jordan went there. So
They
they were
were a
still,
really
and the year
good
before
team.
that, or they were in
They
there.
were always a really good team.
Yeah,
And I get Jordan is top 2 best player of all time. Wherever you put
dude,
him is up to you. But
84, 8 through
he
89,
couldn't
84
make
through
it
90.
past the first round without Scottie Pippen. He couldn't.
That's very
84 through
true.
90,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
all lost the Eastern Conference and
Yeah.
the first round, and then they lost in the
Jordan could
finals in
not get
88
out of the
again.
first round without Scottie Pippen. And that's the interesting thing is, it takes a certain combinations of guys to really get it going. And then when we're talking about a player's resume, we attach these rings and, there could be a guy that his teammate that if he wasn't on the team, maybe those rings wouldn't exist. So how can we really tie rings to people's names? I think it's an interesting conversation. That's what it is. And then like LeBron, when LeBron left his teams were the worst teams in the league. So that's a part of the Jordan LeBron conversation. And I don't know how I got on this, but that is an important
We're trying
aspect
to
of the
relate it.
conversation that
Yeah.
I don't think no one talks about. No one brings it up about who meant more to whose team. But anywho, and the numbers are there. It's not even an opinion. Like the numbers are there.
Yeah.
But
one's a leading scorer and one's not.
yeah, this is true. And then the years where LeBron, I don't like comparing out of position either. Jordan was a two guard that played two guard. LeBron was a 6'8", 250-pound power forward that played every position.
Different players.
It's just and LeBron, he was the best passer.
So you think Steph Curry's better than Shaq?
I can't do that.
Here we go.
I hate comparing out of position is so weird because they have two completely different jobs. But I will say, it'd be hard for me to
or Victor
your player perspective on our next one, bro.
basketball.
Pull up the two and the 5 and just see who you want.
Is it a good night talking about sports if you don't end up LeBron versus Jordan at the end of it?
I mean, that's what everyone's
Is
talking.
that-
Dude,
is that
all
how-
over TikTok is Jordan is better than LeBron. LeBron is better than Jordan.
Dude, and here's the thing.
They're all badasses. Like,
they're all
what else is
the
all over
best
TikTok?
players.
I don't really like LeBron.
The Wide 80 podcast.
Wide 80 podcast, baby. Yes, sir.
But I respect it, man.
Yep.
LeBron is the generational talent here. He's a
Dude,
generational player.
If
You
you're
won't see it again.
over 35, you're going to pick Jordan. If you're under 35, you're probably going to stick with LeBron. But it's a generational thing. Both are the best of their eras. Let's leave it alone. Let them be
We all
great.
agree that they were amazing.
They're
to
both
watch.
goats.
Let's just put it that.
They're both goats. They're 1 and 2, and wherever you put them is fine. If you want to put Jordan over LeBron, I'm okay with it. You want to put LeBron over Jordan, I'm okay with it. But anyways, let's wrap this thing up, boys. It's been a great episode 3. We are the Wide 80 podcast, and we'll catch you next week.